Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely dismantle that classic Hollywood stereotype of the loud, show-off genius. You know exactly the type I'm talking about, right? The one aggressively scribbling math equations on a glass window or totally dominating every single conversation. Well, we're diving straight into some fascinating psychology research to discover what high intelligence actually looks like in everyday life. And honestly, it's usually a lot quieter and way more nuanced than the movies would have us believe.
We usually picture someone with a massive IQ as just obviously brilliant the second they walk into a room, practically solving quantum physics problems out loud. But the reality is actually quite striking. Psychology research reveals that people with extremely high IQs display really subtle behavioral patterns. It's all based on how their brains actively process the world around them, rather than just showing off whatever knowledge they've stockpiled. It's a total game changer in how we spot true intellect.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to systematically explore how the highly intelligent brain works across 5 core themes: redefining high intelligence, the busy inner world, navigating social dynamics, the flexible mind, and finally, the true meaning of intelligence. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. Redefining high intelligence. It's about how you process.
To kick things off, we really need to strip away this idea of intelligence as just a giant encyclopedia stuffed inside someone's head. Cognitive psychologists constantly hammer home this one fascinating idea. Intelligence is less about what you know and more about how your brain processes the world. If you only take away one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this: intelligence is an active, ongoing engine. It's absolutely not just a static storage bank of memorized trivia. It's the real-time machinery of how you actually decode the environment around you.
Section 2. The busy inner world. Mechanics of the solitary brain.
Now, from the outside, certain habits like spending a ton of time alone, quietly muttering to yourself, awkwardly overthinking some tiny little detail from a casual conversation, or staring blankly at the ceiling at 3 a.m., well, they might just look like quirky indecision, or even anxiety. But researchers point out that a truly analytical brain rarely just turns off. These behaviors, they're actually signs of a brain rapidly exploring multiple mental models and possibilities all at the exact same time.
To understand exactly why this happens, we have to look at the biology. According to research from the London School of Economics, highly intelligent individuals often report feeling way less satisfied with frequent social interaction. But why is that? Well, it all comes down to the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain responsible for complex planning and reflection. So, a preference for solitude simply gives the specific brain region the quiet space it desperately craves to process vast amounts of complex ideas. They aren't antisocial at all. They literally just need the mental bandwidth.
And hey, what about that habit of talking to yourself? Psychologists actually have a term for this. It's called self-directed speech. And studies show it is a vital mechanism to improve focus, tighten cognitive control, and really strengthen your working memory. So if you ever catch someone, or even catch yourself, quietly narrating your own thoughts, it's not just some weird quirk. It is concrete scientific proof of an active cognitive system organizing thoughts in real time.
So, why burn the midnight oil? Well, evolutionary psychology connects this late-night mental activity to an intelligent mind's incredible ability to adapt. Researchers suggest that folks with higher cognitive flexibility can just more easily adapt to non-traditional patterns, like staying awake way past bedtime. Their brains are quite literally wired to explore far beyond the standard, deeply ingrained rhythms of the daytime world.
Section 3. Navigating social dynamics. High-level pattern recognition.
When it comes to social dynamics, highly intelligent people often observe way more than they speak. Instead of just jumping right into the middle of the fray, they tend to hang back. And listen, this isn't shyness, it's a very deliberate strategy. They're actively gathering information, reading the room, and analyzing emotional cues. And that precise level of observation is exactly what fuels their advanced, complex sense of humor, which, by the way, is an incredibly high-level cognitive function. Just think about the actual cognitive mechanics of a joke for a second. First off, you have to recognize established patterns. Second, you have to cleverly break those expectations. And third, you have to connect completely unrelated ideas to deliver that punchline. Creating or even just genuinely understanding complex humor requires immense processing power. In fact, intelligence research journals show a very direct, measurable correlation between higher IQ and this specific kind of advanced humor processing. Pretty cool, right?
Section 4. The flexible mind. Dealing with the unknown.
Constant curiosity is the absolute hallmark of a brilliant mind. Think of it as their mental engine.
They're always asking why about the smallest everyday systems, not just those grand, sweeping philosophical puzzles. Plus, they view their personal beliefs not as fixed, unchangeable identities, but rather as flexible mental models. Because they have this incredible cognitive flexibility, they are perfectly comfortable changing their minds the second they're presented with new evidence. You've probably heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? It's that psychological tendency for less knowledgeable people to wildly overestimate their own expertise. Well, highly intelligent people tend to do the exact opposite. Because their brains are constantly processing, they are deeply, sometimes almost painfully, aware of the world's immense complexity and the actual limits of their own knowledge. And that is exactly why they're so comfortable just looking at you and saying, I don't know.
Section 5. The true meaning of intelligence. It is definitely time we powerfully reframe these commonly misunderstood traits. When someone needs time alone, society calls them antisocial, but the reality is just prefrontal processing. When someone asks a million questions, society labels them a skeptic. The reality is pattern searching. And when someone frequently changes their mind, society calls them uncertain or weak, but the reality is high-level cognitive flexibility. What so often looks like a flaw on the surface is actually just the engine of a deeply capable mind hard at work.
So the really crucial point here is that this heightened awareness of complexity ultimately leads the intelligent mind to a 10th final habit, a constant, quiet search for deeper purpose and meaning. They literally can't help but reflect on society, relationships, and human behavior. It isn't necessarily some dramatic existential crisis, it's just this ever-present hum in the background of their thoughts as they try to make sense of how people navigate their lives. Ultimately, it all boils down to one fundamental question. Why do we think the way we do? This is the profound, quiet puzzle that sits right at the back of every highly intelligent mind. Because intelligence isn't just about solving complex math equations or remembering a bunch of trivia. At its absolute core, it's about boundless curiosity. I really hope this explainer has given you a brand new lens to view intelligence through and leaves you wanting to keep exploring the strange, infinitely fascinating puzzle of human nature.